Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. Today we're going to do an RPG unboxing of the recently acquired and extremely newly released and acquired by me at Origins 2023, the Pendragon starter set. Pendragon is a game designed by Greg Stafford that's been through at least 5, depending how you count them, 5 or 6 editions now. Chaosium is working on a brand new edition. And that's not out yet as of this recording, but they've just released the starter set. And Chaosium has Pendragon. I have played, and it is a really cool game that, unfortunately, in certain previous editions, there maybe wasn't quite explained how to do the game quite as well as I would have liked. Although those are not mechanical explanation problems, more about how the game engages with the theme of the Arthurian mythology, the cycle of Arthurian myths, of which it presents a brilliant synthesis over many sources from the ancient well, not ancient, but the medieval sources and the later sources and the French sources and even the fictional sources. So it's a really cool game. It does appear, without looking at the credits, that this is a Mark Wiley cover. Mark Wiley is the artist responsible for a number of things, including the Artesia line of comic, graphic novels, whatever you want to call them, as well as the Artesia RPG, which I really liked and was disappointed that it was never followed up with anything. So this is in a pretty standard nowadays, but also traditional for Chaosium, what looks like a 1-inch box, and it's pretty heavy. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff in here, as I pointed out in the loot video. So let's open her up. Do I even need the knife? Yeah, I can do that. I believe they did sell out of these. This was brand new at Origins. I would have been delighted to pick up whatever new Chaosium had on the table, and this was one of those things. So let's open her up and see what we get. Okay, so first of all, we get a bunch of dice, including a D20 and a 6D6, which are, fine. They're dice that came with the game, so I'm not going to complain about that, but I'll use my own dice. What's in the box? So we have book 1, book 2, book 3, 4 appendices, pre-generated characters, battle cards, and dice. So typically, the Chaosium starter sets do not contain pre-generated character creation rules, since for many of Chaosium's games, not really Call of Cthulhu, but for like RuneQuest and Pendragon, character creation is rather a big deal, and you'll be exploring the character's history one way or the other in doing that. So anything on the back? Yes. This is an ad, including RuneQuest. RuneQuest. Okay, I really like the new edition of RuneQuest. There is an unboxing on the channel of the new, not new anymore, but new at the time, RuneQuest starter set for the new edition of RuneQuest Adventures in Glorantha, on which I lavished praise because it's really great. This is probably also really great. So we have book 1, The Adventure of the Sword and the Stone. And I think this is pretty much following a similar pattern to previous Chaosium starter sets. So you actually start with this, and this is a solitaire adventure that will introduce you to the game mechanics and the themes of the game and all of that. If you would like to see a playthrough of this, by the way, mention it in the comments, and if I get a bunch of people asking me to do that, I will do that. So we're not going to spoilerize anything. There's also a pretty cool map. It's a, paragraph-based solitaire model. And you're playing whoever this person is, and here's the numbers. So you basically, you read a paragraph, and at the end it says go to 2, or it gives you a choice to say go to number 92 or number 106 or whatever it is. And then you may have some mechanical things to do there as well. So this is a 46-page book. I feel like this is on, I would call it satin finished paper, and it feels like it's thicker paper than they used in the RuneQuest set, which felt kind of magazine-y. So book 2, The Fabled Realm, Rules and Setting, Pendragon 6th edition. So we're going to call theirs 6th edition, even though there were a couple different versions of 5th edition. And this is going to give you the introduction to the rules, which will not include character creation, and some information about, Arthuriana, with which I think, we're probably all somewhat familiar. Chaosium printed a trade paperback, actually, called the Arthurian Companion. That's like this massive dictionary of Arthurian knowledge that is a really brilliant work and is being used on a scholarly level. It's so good. for people who are interested in that literature. And then book 3, The Sword Campaign. So the key thing going on in Pendragon is its campaign nature. It's designed to be played not in one-shots, which you can certainly do, and that's fine, but in campaigns, because there are rules for the passage of time, for example, and passing your domain to an heir, and ruling your domain, and all that stuff. I doubt that this starter set, certainly doesn't appear to, that this starter set will really get into that mode of play. Instead, we get a little 3-adventure sequence here in the Sword Campaign, which is probably pretty suitable for kicking off a campaign, I would expect. And you're going to get a lot of Arthurian juice in here, right? Feudal army organization, for example, all this stuff. So, I mean, it's not going to, again, spoil the adventures by pawing through it, but it's going to be pretty cool. Now, there's additional material in here in the form of player aids and appendices, so we'll kind of go through all those a piece at a time. Here's Appendix A Tournaments. So this is a 1-page, both sides, little set of rules for running tournaments. The full game, of course, will probably do more about that. Here's Appendix B Battle. Is this a mass combat system? If so, it kind of looks like that. Yeah, that does kind of look like that. So the full Pendragon game will assuredly contain mass combat rules, but it's rather surprising to find this kind of a robust campaign tool in a starter set. Appendix C, Overland Movement, which is pretty cool. I wonder why they didn't just put these in another book, but you know, whatever, I'm glad to have it. Visiting a Foreign Court. This is a 4-pager, I suppose. So you can do this, and this is some guidelines, I would say, for that. You also have some cards, which I have to tell you I did not expect to see. And I think these are for the battle system. That's what it looks like. Breton Mercenary Knights, Cambrian Archers, Irish Kerns, Knights of Gore, I don't know, Knights of Cornwall, all this stuff. So this is pretty neat, actually. And, you know, once again, we're not going to be surprised at the excellence of a Chaosium starter set. Here are the pre-generated characters, of which there's quite a few. We have Sir Clarion, really nice illustrations here, too. Sir Clarion, for example. And in here, it's going to be kind of an 8.5 by 11 sheet folded in this rather unconventional way. And on the outside, you're going to have some stuff. And on the inside, you're going to have pretty much the stuff you're constantly looking at when you're playing the game. So pre-generated characters, we'll buzz through these real quick. Sir Evrain, so he is a cool, casual-looking fella. We got their heraldry, of course, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to give you the stats on all these. Dame Linnell, a female knight. So we've got these. That's pretty cool. Sir Avalok. Okay. Dame Tamara. Now, one of the things going on in Pendragon is that the characters are all knights. So the system does give you the tools with which to differentiate characters that, say, in D&D, if you played a campaign where everybody's a cavalier, you would probably run the risk of the characters all being the same. In Pendragon, that's not really a concern because the system is structured very differently. Dame Quenhild, I'm probably mispronouncing that. Sir Asterius, very much in the Romanized Britons kind of look. The whole campaign, so there is kind of, it's not like there's only one campaign of Pendragon you can run, but there's an official campaign which is very large and very long, will take a long time to go through, and is so good that it is considered the definitive Pendragon campaign, and that is called the Great Pendragon Campaign. It's been released a couple of times from different publishers, and I'm not sure I've heard that Chaosium is planning to bring it back, but I would be stunned if they did not have plans to bring it back, and I would expect that to be incredibly deluxe as well, considering the quality of the deluxe stuff they have done in recent years. So, as usual, a first-class starter set from Chaosium, this time for Pendragon, one of the I would probably call it one of the top 10 RPGs of all time. People will disagree with that, and it's okay if you do. Please let me know in the comments below. If you found this valuable, please do give the video a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to the channel for more RPG and wargaming content. I'd like to give a shout out to the patrons of Ardwulf's Lair, for without whose support and encouragement it would be impossible to continue doing this. If you'd like to help support the channel, there's a number of ways you can do that linked in the video description, including the patrons and the Patreon, and the merch store and the Ko-Fi and all that stuff. So check those things out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy gaming.